Now what I'd like you guys to do is think for a second about how the world could be better in a way that's meaningful to you personally. You think about how the world could actually be better in a way that's meaningful to you personally. It might be children in third world countries getting musical instruments. It might be changing the education system. It might be changing the way that buildings are constructed or homes. It could be anything. But think of a way that you could contribute to, think of a vision of the way the world could be better, and think about how you could contribute to that vision. You got it? Yeah? Can you see that clearly? Like really see a better world? See how the world could be better as a result? Okay, good. Now, we're going to add a little piece to the puzzle. I'd like you to become aware of your feet. Okay, the feet are the furthest thing from the head in the human anatomy, and they're the thing that, as men, we often become detached from the most because they're the furthest away. So feel your feet right now. Right? Now become conscious of them. Now put them facing straight forward like they're on rails, and spread them so that they're about hip width apart, so that your legs go straight down and they're parallel. Good. Now, flex your toes a little bit. Grab the ground. Not too hard, but just grab the ground a little bit. Feel it like you're grabbing the ground. My mentor, Jerry, he used to talk about his martial arts teacher who talked about various types of power. And because there's gravity pulling us down, we actually have ground power. You can grab the ground with your feet a little bit. You can actually grab onto it and be aware of it. Good. Feel that? Now, align your shoulders with your hips and your feet so they all go straight down. Okay? We're not like sticking our chest out and being weird, but we're just, imagine there's a little string pulling your chest up just a little bit. Then imagine that there's a string on the back of your head pulling the back of your head up just a little bit. Okay? On average, what's the increase in numerical trustability of these men?
2.
If there is one. 2, 3, 5 points? They gain 2 points, 3 points, 5 points? How many? Yell it out. 2. Be honest. 2, 3. Some people might think they are less trustable. Whatever. 4. Did we gain 3 points with that one move? Yeah, maybe? Okay. Interesting. So what's that doing? Why is it that that changes things? Well, I'm going to suggest that it might have something to do with getting in touch with physical reality, the physical part of reality, your body in physical space. Next, here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to think about something that you care about a lot. Okay? Think about someone that you care about a lot. Think about a person in your life that you just love in every possible way. Look out that direction and think about them. Imagine that they were standing in front of you and you could show them an expression. Look that direction. Imagine, pretend I'm not here. I know it's easy with all the lights on and everything. Pretend they're standing in front of you and you could show them an expression with your face that would let them know how much you love them, how much you care about them. You sense a difference? Is there a difference in the way these men appear? Okay. Now, feel your feet. Feel your hips above your feet, your shoulders. Keep looking that way. Imagine that this person is standing in front of you and you're expressing your love for them through the expression on your face. You're letting them know. And now, be present here in this room at the same time. Be with all of these people who have all come so far, dedicated their time, their money, their energy to growing together. Be present with them. on average, how many points did we gain? 4 points, 3 points, 5 points? 2 points? Be honest. 3, 4, 5? 2 points? So did we gain 3 or 4 points maybe? A few things? Okay, good. Now, what I would like you to do is realize that everything that you do with your life, including standing right here, right now, and being with these people and expressing love, being in touch with physical reality, every part of this, if you choose, can be a component, can be a building block of you contributing your greatest gifts to the world and you creating that vision. That this is part of it. Like you are using this as a link in the chain of making that happen. Right? Realize that is what's going on right now. And that everything you do can be part of it. Everything. Whether you're receiving, whether you're contributing, whether you're making a picture of the vision that you want, whether you're mentoring someone, whatever you're doing, whether you're sleeping, it can all be a part of that bigger picture, that bigger vision. Okay, I'd like you to say your name and give me 30 seconds about what's important. Do it from a place of being grounded in your body and in physical reality. Open heart, right? Expressing your love, being present with all of us, and seeing how what you're going to do right now is connected. It's an expression. It's part of this eternal chain. It's one link in this chain of getting to that vision, of creating that better world that you know that you can help create.
Well, my name is Boris Senek. I'm from San Jose, California. And what's important to me now for this experience is the human connection, like being real with people, letting somebody else know what I'm thinking about, accepting their input, understanding where they're coming from, and seeing what I can do to improve myself and what I can contribute to that other person.
Excellent.
It's important that I tolerate people who I feel aren't striving to evolve, and it's important to tolerate seeing someone who's in the grips of ego and seeing it in myself, and to help everyone break through that and to break myself through that as well.
Christopher from Los Angeles. It's important that when I'm alive and when you are alive, you feel it, you enjoy it, and you share it.
Could you sense the transformation there? Like more awareness of physical, a little more emotion, a little more presence, a little more connection to the bigger picture. Now what I'd like you guys to do is each realize that what you just said was a means. Okay, it's a means to something. Now there really are no ends in reality. They don't exist. Everything's just really a means to another means to keep developing. But let's just say that this vision of how the world could be a better place and how you could contribute to it, let's say that this could be an end in that sense. What I'd like you to do now is talk about what's important as it relates to creating that vision. So say the same thing that you thought was important, but talk about it as it relates to creating that new reality that doesn't exist right now.
So, should I say my name?
You can do whatever you want.
So what I'm seeing is what I can create, what I can open up with other people is, I have a vision, and one of the things I thought about was when I lived in a different country, how different my impression was of other people. And if other people came and lived in a different country, they could get to know those people, and as a way of breaking down barriers between people. So what I was talking about before was being connected, being real with people.
Can I get you to hold that right up to your mic, your mouth?
What I was talking about before about being real, getting connected with people, I can see how a vision of having people understand each other, work together, bringing people together, how that could all work together.
Excellent.
I see that through being tolerant of people who I feel aren't evolving, I would be able to accept them without gratifying myself or my own vision of myself, and also helping them to see a vision for themselves in the future that's not so much controlled by mental processes or judgments or any of that. And I would also be able to recognize those things in myself through that type of acceptance of them rather than judgment of them.
Well, I'm realizing right now that when I'm alive and I can feel it, when I'm living it, I don't give a message, I become the message. And when I see or trigger or facilitate people in this state of really being alive and enjoying it, it's the greatest joy I have in life and the greatest contribution I make to anybody's life.
So can you see the steps of transformation that are starting to take place here? Right, we're still just, I feel like we're little baby chicks or something, just breaking open the egg and looking out for the first time. Ooh, this is a new way to see things, a new way to conceptualize reality. But again, if our mystery supermodel were sitting back in the back of the room, would she have been attracted to the first things that these guys said and the way they were holding themselves? Would this kind of stuff resonate more? Right? A lot more. Dramatically more. They're not even in the same realm. Not even in the same universe. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for coming up. Gandhi said something very important. Might be his most profound statement, possibly. He said, "My life is my message." My life is my message. My life is my message. Now that's, in a sense, really true for all of us. Your life is your message. How you live your life is the message. Now, communication gives us a great tool where we can communicate with each other, but it also gives us a great tool which we can deceive ourselves and each other. And a lot of the dating world and the dating advice world and the pickup kind of world is all about how do I deceive other people with my message so they'll think that I'm a certain way. And how do I deceive myself so that I make it okay to do that stuff? And what I'm suggesting is the woman that you really want is going to not look at your messages that are communicated with your mouth. There's some value in those, but she's going to look at your life, and your life is going to be your message. So the real equation here is not just have a bigger vision and talk about it and speak about it in an eloquent way, but it's have a bigger vision and then have every single thing you do in your life be contributing to creating that vision and making that better world real. And she will be able to tell when you sit down to watch television to relax She will be able to tell if that's contributing to you making the world better. She'll know, okay, that is something that you're enjoying. You're going to watch something that's going to help you. You enjoy going and watching sports because it's a good distraction. It gets you fired up. You enjoy, like whatever. You have, you play fantasy football with your friends, like whatever. It contributes to you, which then contributes to the bigger picture. Or if you're doing it because you just want to escape, because you want the world to leave you alone and whatever. Same action, same game, same TV. She'll know what that message is. As men, we also have to let go of the idea that giving our greatest contribution and creating a better world and a better life and a better reality, we have to let go of the idea of this becoming slavery or us being oppressed or what about, am I not trying to get something for me? This to me is the ultimate alignment of selfish needs with the needs of others. Because we become most fulfilled, we become most satisfied with our lives, and it is the most long-term, the most sustainable when we are contributing our greatest gifts. And when we're building a life that allows us to contribute our greatest gifts, and a life that does that includes lots of rejuvenation and rest and fun and all that kind of stuff. But when it's in service of you rather than in service of your contribution, that's your message. It's very clear. It's obvious. It's super obvious. You can't hide that. It's like if you go into business to get money, and then you use the money to get more money, and then you use the money and the power to get more money and power, it very quickly corrupts your whole system because you don't even know why you're doing it. You're just running like a robot. But when you go into business and you try to understand the needs of your customers so you can contribute something to them, and then you take the money and you reinvest in contributing to people, and you reinvest in yourself so that you can become better at contributing to them, and maybe you take some of that and you buy things that you enjoy and you live a fun life and you do all the things that you want to do, then it's obvious that that's your message. Right? So my life is my message. Your life is your message. When you stand in front of a woman and you take the mic, it doesn't matter what you say because it's all obvious. Your whole message comes out in everything that you're doing and saying all the time. I don't care if you're picking up the newspaper and choosing which article to read. I don't care if you're calling up a friend to see what they're doing, or going to the bookstore, or going to a bar. It's all your message. And when you get really clear about that bigger vision of something you could contribute to in the world, and then you align everything with that, then your message becomes very clear, very powerful, very fulfilling for you, and it creates long-term sustainable energy. It helps you make decisions. It helps you deal with all the types of conflicts that you deal with. What I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to create a vision of the way the world could be a better place. Okay? How could the world be a better place in a way that you could help make happen? What's your vision? I have a few of them. One that I have, as an example, is I can imagine a world where anyone on the planet can get access to a computer, and through access to that computer, they can educate themselves, and they can contribute to society in a way that allows them to sustain themselves and their family. I can see a future where that could be real, where even someone that's out in the middle of a desert somewhere with nothing anywhere, and they don't even know anyone that has any kind of success or models of success, can have access to a computer, and through that computer, They can educate themselves, they can learn skills, and they can contribute to the bigger society, the bigger world society, in a way that they can get value for themselves and at least get themselves to sustenance, taking care of themselves and their family. And I'd like to contribute to something like that. And what I'm doing, that's one of the programs that's running in my head at all times. And everything I'm learning about how to interact with people and teach them, about technology, about business, about managing big projects, about politics, all that, it's all being applied to that at some level. You follow? I see a vision. I can imagine a time where everyone has access to a computer and that they can use that computer to educate themselves, to learn skills, contribute to the global society, and get back enough value and earn for themselves enough value to sustain themselves and their family. Now, do you hear that it's relatively crisp? Right, the different components of it are there. What's yours? Let's take about 3 or 4 minutes to just write out, what's a vision of the way the world could be a better place in a way that you could contribute to? Don't worry about you and what you're going to do. Just worry about the vision of how the world could be a better place. As you're doing this exercise, what I'd like you to try to do is focus on making this tangible. Make your vision tangible. Something that is specific, concrete, something that other people would be able to verify and look at it and say, yep, I understand what you're talking about there with the vision, and I looked out my window and it was happening. Okay? Not just a feeling or a thought or an understanding, but something tangible. My friend Wyatt Woodsmall says, learning equals behavior change. Okay, so learning, behavior change. So what is the manifestation? Make sure that that's part of your vision. How will the world be different? What is the world ripe for right now? It's ready for this transformation, for this change. And it could be different. All right, the final step I'd like you to take is let's boil it down. Let's condense it. Let's clarify it. Let's strip out all the waste. Let's omit all needless words. And let's get right to the core of what this change is. Who's got one? First person to this microphone? Yeah, you, perfect. One more over here, you, right to this mic.
My name is Shu, I'm from Boston. And I have a vision that in the future, with my help and other people's help, this world, we can use sustainable and alternative energy instead of killing the earth and doing the destructive, self-destructive pattern we're doing right now. And when people look outside of their window, see whatever the wind turbines or the alternative energy device, they know that the earth has a balance, and it's a place where they can live for a long time, and their grandchildren can live for a long time, instead of what we see today. And at the same time, I want to combine the personal growth and what we're doing right here into the future education system, because I think it's extremely important in our education system, which is super big business in today's world, in all countries.
Let's choose the first one, the sustainable energy. Is there a particular area of sustainable energy that you're passionate about?
What do you mean, like wind energy or cars?
Yeah, whatever. Is there some area of it?
I'll say electric cars so far.
Electric cars? Okay,
yeah.
Electric cars, good. Is there some specific area of the environment that you're passionate about?
The air.
Okay, the air.
The atmosphere.
Excellent. How does electric car relate to air and environment?
Because electric car doesn't give as much as the chemical waste and CO2 into the air. I mean, at all, basically, because it uses electric. So we pretty much do not have the problem of global warming and a lot of other issues.
Okay. So I'm going to just step on you for a second here, but this is a good example. So when he first said alternative energy, sustainability, whatever, the globe, ecology, that kind of stuff, is that compelling? Or does that kind of sound like everybody else? Right? It sounds kind of like idealism, like what everybody says. On the other hand, if he says, I have a vision of everyone using electric automobiles that don't give off carbon dioxide emissions so that we could have clean air again in the future. Is that compelling? There's something that's more real about that. Is this making sense to you? There's something that's more meaningful about that. I'm not saying that that's exactly what it is, but there's something that's more meaningful. And what we're looking for is that ideal level of specificity. I would probably drill down further with him if we were going to do this, because I'd want to get it to him saying, I want to help create the motor that's going to run the electric cars of the future, that are going to lower the carbon dioxide emissions by this much per year, which is going to eliminate global warming. And here's how the equation works. You follow? To that right level of specificity. But let's stick here at electric cars and air quality. Okay? What's something that you do every day that seems like it's unrelated to those things?
Unrelated?
Yeah, right now. Anything.
Oh, yeah. The debate in the morning. Definitely.
The morning debate?
Yeah. I wake up, debate, and I fall back to sleep, and wake up again, do a debate again, and then fall right back into sleep. Like,
this is more prevalent than we thought it was, isn't it? Let's take sleep.
Sleep.
Okay, let's just take sleep as an example. Right? How does you sleeping connect and contribute to you helping create that electric car that creates better air for our species and for all of life?
Sleeping helps me to be more efficient when I'm awake, and keeps me alive to actually help me to contribute, helping and creating this affordable electric car for the globe.
How different is going to sleep when it's helping you create that car than when you're just going to sleep because you're tired?
Wow.
Very different. There's an old, there's an old story about, someone walks up to a couple of guys who are laying bricks and says to one of them, "What are you doing?" And the person says, "I'm just doing my job. I'm just laying bricks." And walks up to the other one and says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm building a cathedral that's going to stand for 1,000 years." Right? They've heard this story before. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alexander DeLuke from Brooklyn, New York, and my vision is to change the music industry in a way that we don't look just at looks. We just see talent and we find the true talented people, and then we use them to become more than just a face and a sexy body. And we actually look at talent, and then we see all the musicians there's tons of musicians out there that they don't get the chance because people are people think, oh, this person looks this way, this person looks that way, and basically they don't give that person a chance. And that's why a lot of musicians they don't get to where they want to go.
Does he sound like a preacher or a visionary? A preacher. Do you like sounding like a preacher?
No.
No? You do.
No.
Why does he sound like a preacher? It's interesting, right? It's like, that's fascinating. What's missing from his vision? Him, what? Action, contribution, specifics. What'd you say? Expression, solution. How it's going to change the world? Yeah, like what's the difference it's going to make in the lives of other people? Right? You're talking about talent and all this beautiful idealistic stuff, but you left out the most important part of the equation.
The most important part is me changing the future, because I write songs and I build my own studio, but the thing is that I want to become somebody so I can help other people develop their talents too, in a way.
Okay, good. So you started though with you in the beginning, right? Still focused on you. You got to the end, help other people develop their talents. Why is that important?
Why? Because if I help other people develop their talents, then they help me also develop my talents.
So it's all about you, pretty much everywhere. Okay, great.
In the bigger.
Take you out of the equation.
Okay, fine. Forget about me for once.
I don't think we can, but go ahead.
All right. So basically, to help other people, to help other people develop their skills so that they can become the best they can be.
So that what can happen? How does it change society, the world?
Because then other people are going to get more chances to become the person that they want to be, and then
What people? What people?
Like musicians or anyone.
What kind of musicians that aren't getting the chance right now?
The most talented ones.
The most talented ones?
Yeah. Okay. Like musicians who can have the talent, but the problem is that they don't get the chances to become who they really are because of their limiting beliefs, because this and that, and then other people, if they see that talent and they bring them closer and they develop them and help them, that person can change another person's life, and then they can change another person's life until the music industry won't be just looks, it would be actual talent.
How is culture going to benefit? How's society going to benefit from this?
Well, more people are going to make more money and they're going to listen to better music.
Okay. What I'm trying to get you to here is some bigger thing, more than just money or more than just people, with talent being able to become someone. How does it make the world better?
Makes the world better because we all, I'm confused now. Because when people become better at something, then they can open more doors for more people and become, they can help other people develop in other things, and they can, music is very emotional, so when you feel a good song, when you hear a good song, then you motivate yourself, you become more energized and you become more the person that you want to be, and because music is very emotional, and when you sing a song and then you feel the things, the energy, then you motivate yourself. And
so let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
If you said to me right now, people with talent are being deliberately oppressed for some reason, and people without talent but that just look good are being elevated. And this is costing society, because when you don't have good music that's created by talented people, there's more crime, there's more war. You with me? There's more theft. Literacy goes down. I don't know what this would be. I don't know. I mean, you have to figure this out. But then you said, and what I want to do is I want to help these disadvantaged, talented people get to the forefront so they can create better music, distribute it using the internet, using platforms that are available now for themselves. And this is going to reduce crime. It's going to increase literacy. You follow?
Yeah.
There's some contribution in some way that's measurable, that's specific. Your vision is going to become much more powerful. Do you follow?
Yes, now again.
Try again.
Okay, so now basically what I'm going to say that if people change the music industry, then less fortunate people are going to get a chance to become more who they want to be and crime rate is going to go down, people are going to get more chances.
I made that stuff up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what you might want to do as your homework is figure out whether or not what you're trying to do is going to make the world better. Right? If it is, how? Like, can you be specific? Can you tell me in a way where I'm going to say, you know, that's probably worthwhile? Right?
Okay.
Because it is nice to help people become successful. That is nice. But if it's not changing the world, if it's not making the world a better place, then it's doesn't resonate. There's not the what's it for kind of thing, right? If you're going to be defending the downtrodden, why are you doing it? Is it just for the sake of all these poor talented musicians that are oppressed and they need to whatever be able to express themselves? How does it help the world? What does it do for the bigger picture? That's your homework.
All right. I'll
All right,
remember
good.
that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for contributing. Are you starting to get a feel for what I'm talking about? Good. Pass number 2. Quickly, summarize the essence of your vision of how you could make the world a better place. What are you passionate about? It's a vision of how the world could be a better place that you could contribute to. Take yourself out of it for this part of the exercise, actually. So, your vision of how could the world be a better place? I see a future where, and what's going on in that future? And how's the world becoming better as a result? Get out a clean piece of paper. Turn to a clean page in your journal. Blank sheet of paper. At the top of that piece of paper, write down what I want in a woman. And now start writing. You got 60 seconds. Go. Now, make another list. If you've got plenty of room on that page, just use the second half of that page for this one. If not, another page would be fine. What I absolutely do not want in a woman. And start writing. What are the deal breakers? What I absolutely do not want in a woman. What are the qualities she cannot have? Excellent. Find someone you don't know. 60 seconds apiece. Tell them what you want and what you don't want. Find someone you don't know. If you need a partner, just meet right in the middle of the back of the room right over here. Who hasn't shared yet, would like to get outside your comfort zone, maybe do a little bit of work? You? You want to come right over here? What do we got over here? The back? Yeah. You want to come over to this mic right here? How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent.
I'm John from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
How's Baton Rouge treating you?
Well, Tigers are the national champions. That's right.
Randy Watson, ladies and gentlemen. That's good. That boy good. So tell me, what do you want in a woman?
A fun girl who's a little bit sarcastic, good looking, smart.
Could I get you to walk just a little closer to that microphone?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I want a fun girl who's a little bit sarcastic, good looking, smart, and cares about herself.
Okay, excellent. What do you not want?
I don't like a girl without a sense of humor, too serious, not willing to break free from her comfort zone, like, not willing to like role play, stuff like that. Like, me and my ex, we used to.
Now we're talking. Finally, we got down to the real important stuff here.
And can't have a deep voice.
Not willing to not role play, can't have a deep voice. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. But let me ask you this question.
What's up?
What was the process you went through deciding what you wanted?
Probably thinking back to previous relationships.
Okay. Thought back
What
to
I've learned
previous
from them.
relationships. How did you decide what you want? What was your criteria? What were you doing? So when you said probably,
What do you mean probably? When did I say
you
that?
said I probably thought back to past relationships.
Oh, no, I did.
Oh, okay.
Just nervous.
You're a wily dude. You're very sly. What's the most important one on the list of things you want? If it could just be one of them,
She has to care about herself.
if you could only have one.
She has to care about herself. If a girl doesn't really care about herself, then it just brings down the vibe.
Okay, she has to care about herself. How important is that to you?
Very important.
Very important. Why? How did you choose that?
I don't know.
I don't know. What's the second one? Second most important.
Fun.
Okay, fun. Define fun.
Just like willing to go do stuff. It's just fun. Like
Role playing.
when I say role playing, I mean like going up to like strangers and be like, "Oh, this is my wife," kind of stuff. You know, just like joking around, starting like a weird.
We thought you were cool up until you said that.
I think I'm cool.
Okay. Where did that come from? Why fun? Why being willing to play around? Where'd that come from? Why is that important to you?
Guess I always like that, like whose line is it anyway, kind of stuff. You know, just
Yeah.
improv. So it's fun.
Cool.
That's what I like to do.
Why? What's on the must not have list? What are the deal breakers? What's number one? The number one deal breaker?
Too serious.
Too serious.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your reasoning there?
Well, there's no fun there.
So fun's obviously high value
Yeah.
for you. How did you choose that? What was your logic behind it? Or what was the process you went through?
Well, I would say that things that are fun, it evokes good emotions. So I guess thinking back to things, think about good emotions that come through, and it happens when things are fun. So I value fun.
Excellent. All right. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
contributing.
I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Excuse me?
No, just kidding.
I didn't hear a
I s-
damn thing you said. So
I said I don't think I want to do this anymore.
no, you don't want to do the same one. No. Okay. Get right up in front of that mic, that
All
far
right.
away. All right. Talk to me. What is number one? What's the most important thing?
Number one, great looks.
Looks.
Well, I have looks and support herself.
So like she looks at you?
No, she has good. She looks good.
I see.
Yeah.
Anything in particular? Looks?
Well, actually, it's
Cankles?
more like that equal with she can support herself.
So she looks good and can support
Can
herself.
support herself. Yeah.
Okay. What's your thought process behind, or what's your reasoning behind looks good? Why is that important to you?
Because I think attraction is the number one thing. But, I
Okay.
mean, I have to be attracted to her.
Okay.
Okay.
And then what's your reasoning behind?
Can support herself.
Supports herself.
I like independence. It's a good quality.
Okay. So she's got to be hot and pay your bills.
At least hers.
Okay. At least her own. Okay. Good. And what are on the must not haves list?
Ugly, fat, unhealthy, not fun, gold digger, needs to be
I
supported.
just wanted the top one.
Oh, top. I
Could
have
you
drum-
imagine this woman that he's talking about right there? Whoa. I'm horrified. What's the number one on the do
I have
not
a-
call list?
Drama queen.
Drama queen.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your reasoning there?
It's a lot of headaches.
A
To
lot
the
of
girl
headaches.
who's addicted to drama.
Okay. What's another thing on there?
Needs to be supported, needs me to support her. In any way, not just financially, but, emotionally.
Okay. Good. And what's your reasoning there?
Also a lot of headaches. Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for
problem.
sharing. Would you agree that these are important things to have in a woman and to not have in a woman? The things that these guys said? They're things that most guys want, right? What did you notice that the answer was when I said, what's your reasoning? Why did you choose that answer? Why do you want that? What did you notice?
Most people
Don't know? What else? Hadn't really considered it, based on past experience. What else? Avoiding pain. These things that a lot of us men want in women, and the things that we don't want, if you analyze them from a little higher perspective, in a lot of cases, they boil down to instant gratification, superficial, past-based stuff. In Man Transformation, I talked about Werner Erhard, the guy that created the EST program and the forum, and just a real interesting, weird, brilliant genius of our time. And one of the distinctions that he makes is that what a lot of people do is they take their past and they put it in their future. And they live their past into their future, instead of realizing they can create their future. They can create something new that has never existed before, a greater life for themselves, etc. So let's zoom way over here and take a completely different perspective. What if, instead of choosing a woman for the reasons that most of us can't really identify, because actually most of those types of reasons are because that's what we're comfortable with, that's what we liked in the past, that's what we think will make us feel good, that's what we don't want to have around because it's annoying. What if we said, well, you know, I've got a vision for the future of how the world can be a better place. And I can see that vision. It's getting clearer every day. And I'm adding new ones to it. I'm really going to make a difference. And in order to do that, in order to make that real, I've got to become a more actualized version of me. That's what I got to do. Like to make that thing happen and to contribute to that at the greatest level I can, I've got to become a more actualized person. I got to become a more potentialized version of myself. What if I chose a woman based on how she could contribute to me becoming a more actualized version of myself so that I can go create the thing that I'm trying to create? Rather than just saying, oh, you know what, I want her to have nice tits and not have cankles. You follow? Now, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just suggesting a new perspective. Let's just try this on for a second. Has anyone here ever met a man who attracted a woman that was so beautiful that 10 years later, even though she was a horrible person and created emotional turmoil and created unhappiness for him, that he woke up every day and said, she's so beautiful and that's what fulfills me, and I don't care about all the rest of that stuff? Is there anyone? You and you. You two guys? One over there? How many guys know a guy who has gone through it, didn't care? Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys? 7? Okay. I didn't think we were really going to find any, but if you do the math on that, you know, whatever, hundreds of people in a room, you got 7 who know someone who went through all that time and just said, you know, I don't care about all that hell because she looks so good. Now I would ask those 7 guys, would you want to be that guy? Is that someone that's contributing to the bigger picture? That dude? No. Everybody's shaking their head. Okay. So maybe when that does happen, it's probably not somebody that we want to become. My experience, after knowing some pretty attractive women, like physically attractive, is that for me, who I'm on my path, I'm trying to do some important things. To me, they seem relatively important in the world, that when a woman makes my life difficult in some way, takes me off my path, her unwillingness to take care of herself and be healthy, to contribute to, something that she's trying to do in the world or to me or to whatever, just brings me down, that it's not worth it. The equation is not worth it. And on the other hand, if I'm with someone who maybe I find her attractive, but I'm not saying, well, you're the most beautiful woman in the world, you're the hottest sex symbol I've ever seen. But if I just love being with her and I enjoy the hell out of it, that it just doesn't matter. That's a little bit more my experience. So what if you started choosing what you wanted in a woman consciously rather than unconsciously? What if you started using your amazing powers of having a bigger vision in life, of seeing a bigger future for yourself, to see that future that you can imagine, see how you can actualize yourself to create it, and then imagine what type of woman would help you become the best version of you that you could be? What if you tried that one out? And then what if, on the things that are the do not want list, right, on the I just can't accept that's the no-no list. What if the number one thing there was something that prevented you from becoming all you can be, and it wasn't just, some little superficial preference thing? How would that affect your values? So let's try this again. Get in touch with that picture that you have for a bigger future, for a way that the world could be that it is not right now, that you could contribute to. You could make a difference making that thing happen. Now think about who you'd have to become, how you'd have to actualize yourself. And now turn to a blank piece of paper and write what I want in a woman. And now start writing. 60 seconds. This might be a little weird. Don't worry about it. This is just practice. Next, make a list of the things that you do not want, but base it on where you're going and who you need to become to get there. What are the things you don't want? What are the must-not-haves? All right, who hasn't spoken and would like to get outside your comfort zone and do a little work? This gentleman right here. You want to just cruise up here on stage? You can take the direct route if you'd like. How's it going?
Hi.
Grab a chair. Take that microphone that's right behind you there. Name and where you're from?
John from Austin, Texas.
How's it going?
Great.
What's your insight so far?
Oh, well, my insight on this is I want a woman who is happy and driven in her purpose. And what I don't want, and this is my big thing, I don't want someone who would rather be right than happy.
Would rather be right than happy.
I've been that person, so.
Yeah. I've known a lot of men that would rather be right than happy. Men do that one, in my experience, more than women do, but I can understand. What could you see as a bigger vision in the world that you could potentially contribute to or help make real?
Oh, what do I want my mission to be?
Well, I mean, what do you see the vision? Forget your part of it, but what's the vision that you could see in the world?
My vision is a happier and more understanding world through high schools and junior highs not having any school shootings or any bullying problems.
Okay. Let's take that and turn it into a positive thing. So instead of something's missing, turn it into the presence of something.
I would like high schools and junior highs to have a healthy, great vibe.
Okay. Maybe conflict resolution through peaceful means or something?
I've thought about this in the past, and I thought that I would promote it as I'd like to help promote a healthy school vibe, as opposed to let me come speak to your school and you won't have a school shooting.
Gotcha. Okay, so healthy high schools and middle schools.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We'll keep working on the specificity of this because the more tangible it is, the more powerful it is. You follow?
Yes.
Right, the more tangible. Who do you have to become to make that happen?
I have to become who I preach to them they should be. Like, if I tell you should be a happy and fulfilled person, and you have to have a happy and fulfilled life and live with passion and find things that interest you and don't do things that don't interest you, I have to be that person. I have to be the model for the people I'm speaking to.
And what's your current biggest obstacle to that in your own life?
Honestly, right now, it just seems to be time. I feel like I'm right exactly where I need to be. I'm doing exactly the things I need to do. It just feels like time's working its course.
Okay, interesting. So, in other words, everything's right except time?
That's how I feel, yes.
Okay. Tell me what that means, because we all get the same amount of time. Time is always right. And when you're right but time is wrong, that tells me that maybe there's a little disconnect. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I don't actually.
No, you don't understand what I'm saying.
I do not.
Okay. If you weren't here right now, this thing that we call time, whatever, it would still be going by. It would be fine without you. Right? Time isn't the problem. You with me?
Yes.
I'm perfect, but time is screwed up. I think you might have the telescope, like where you get the big lens here, and you're like, why can't I see anything? Try again.
Well, I feel that I'm completely on my purpose. I'm doing exactly what I need to. I honestly feel like it will just work itself out. I feel that I'm zeroed in exactly where I need to be, and I'm doing exactly what I need to do.
Okay, so there isn't any obstacle?
Not that I can think of right now. If 6 months ago there would have been one, but not now.
Okay. Well, are you facing any challenges on the way to creating this thing? Are there any big opportunities that you could take advantage of that you need to get to, or is there something you need to make happen to create an event that is the domino that topples over all the rest? Is there a big high leverage thing here somewhere?
I need to be more comfortable promoting what I want to promote. Like, I'm very good. I'm working at a high school as a counselor right now. I'm very good at helping people when they come to me.
Yep.
And I'm very good at talking to groups when I'm invited and they come to me. Mm-hmm. But I'm even though I greatly believe in what I'm doing, I have a difficult time like putting myself out there and saying, you don't know anything about this, but let me tell you, and I think you'll be interested.
Okay. Keep talking about that a little bit more so I can get a feel for what you're saying.
Okay, meaning like I'm cool sitting in the office for everybody coming to me, but if I had to go to another school and talk to them about how I think they could improve things, and they don't know me, I would have more of a difficult time with that.
So when you're talking about high schools and middle schools, your vision of the future, how many people are you talking about this affecting, this vision of them not having shootings and them resolving things in a better way, I guess, and having a good vibe? Or I don't know what the vision is exactly, but that thing.
Everyone in America and then beyond America, I suppose. just everyone. I feel that, if you promote a healthier vibe and have there be no socially ostracized kids, then they'll grow up.
Do you hear it? There was the first tangible, specific, measurable, like, now we're getting in there. No socially ostracized kids. Much more compelling. How many socially ostracized kids do you think are out there? Let's say in America, where we live. 1 ton?
Did you say in America?
Yeah. 2 tons?
20,000.
20,000. Okay. What about, maybe just as part of your vision, just trying on, getting the 20,000 socially ostracized high schoolers and middle schoolers integrated into the social groups, feeling more accepted and welcomed and having friends? What about something like that?
Yes, that's exactly what I want. I want everybody to feel like they're part of a group, everybody to feel connected. I think that's the main thing. I want everybody to feel connected and see their connections with other people.
Okay. So when you say good vibe, that's what you said, right? Yes. At high schools and middle schools, that's one thing. How realistic does that sound to anyone? Does anyone think that sounds realistic or like real? 1 guy, 2 guys, okay, 3, good. Utopian, too big, it's non-specific. It doesn't mean anything because it's good vibe. That, to you, good vibe is totally different than everyone else. But what about get the 20,000 kids that are socially ostracized to, I don't know how we would describe it. How would you describe what we would do with them?
I would like for them to see their connections with other people. And
what would they be doing in the world that would allow you to know, in NLP they call it an evidence procedure, what would be the evidence that they would feel that connection?
They would have friends.
What does have friend mean?
Someone that they can talk to and feel that they care about them. So they would have people that they feel care about them in their lives.
Okay.
And they would hopefully be dating somebody. They would have a job that they really like.
Okay, so time out. Okay, so socially ostracized, feel connected, or socially ostracized, have someone that they believe cares about them, have someone they're dating, and have a job. Which one is more measurable and concrete and believable? The second one. Right? If I say to you, I want to get high schoolers and middle schools to all have a good vibe, you say, okay, whatever, right? Just general, doesn't even, literally, and I'm saying this in love, it doesn't mean anything to me. You sound like everybody else that wants to say that they're doing something, but, doesn't really have something to add. But when I say there are 20,000 kids right now in America that, and there are a lot more than that, obviously, but there are 20,000 kids right now in Los Angeles, or in West Los Angeles, who are high schoolers and middle schoolers that are socially ostracized. They're outcasts. And my vision is that every one of these kids can have at least one person in their life that they feel cares about them. They have a date, someone that they're dating, and they have a job. And I'm going to make that happen. Does that sound believable? All right? Now, what could you do to make that happen? What's one thing you could do that would have the highest leverage to make that happen?
I could start classes locally in Austin, Texas, at the school I'm working at, and at other schools beyond that, for people who are having social problems to get together and talk. And I'd find some way to frame it to where it wasn't like, if you're a social outcast, you come to this class. I'd find some way to make it be more positive.
Better marketing.
Yeah, I do some marketing.
I have to do that too.
Yeah. I would.
That's good enough. Okay? A class that you're going to give, where you're going to design it, get the social outcasts to come, and you're going to connect them with each other and teach them social skills with each other. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I say, I want there to be, my vision is that there's a good vibe at high schools and middle schools across the country, you say, all right, doesn't even register. If you say, there are 20,000 kids in Los Angeles right now in high school and middle school that are socially outcast, ostracized. I can see a day when every one of those kids will have at least one person in their life that they feel cares about them. They'll have someone that they're dating, and they will have a job. And the way I'm going to do it is I've created a class that I give to these kids, and I invite them, and I've got a great framework that I put around it so that they don't feel weird coming to it. And then I teach them the skills that they need to do to get these 3 things accomplished. Is that inspiring? If you met this guy like at Starbucks and you were talking to him and he gave you that rap, that little 30-second rap that I just gave you, who would feel like they want to contribute something like that? Like they would just want to do something to help, right? There's so much power in the specificity and the clarity of it, right? Who, if he said, in fact, I've got a class going on this Thursday night where I've got 50 socially challenged kids coming, and let's say you were talking to Starbucks, and he said to you, you seem like a pretty well-adjusted person, and it really helps when we have just regular people come and contribute, just talk for a few minutes so that they can see me interacting with someone that's socially adjusted, and just hang out with them for a little bit. Would you just come down to the class and hang out for a few minutes? Who would go? Clarity of vision, very, very powerful. Now, who do you need to become to actualize that? What's something you need to do in your life to actualize that?
I feel that everything I do in my life that tries to give my life more value or make myself and others around me happier, I feel that the better person I become, the better that will be for everybody. Because the better I'll be able to communicate what is a way that you can achieve having friends, having a girlfriend, and having a job.
Okay. How about something like learning public speaking, or learning how to put together 1-hour presentations, or something that's very specific that you need to, actualize in yourself, that you have the power to do, but it's specific and measurable? What's the big one?
Both of those are awesome, but since you say that, I guess
it's Christmas.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Actually, for anyone I could think of, I'd have to say over the past couple of years, definitely learning public speaking. Okay. Because I've seen myself evolve that way over the past few years.
Great. So let's say it's master public speaking. Okay, so I got to actualize the presenter in me. That's big action step. In order to do that, what do you need to do? Is there anything you need to overcome? Do you have any inner limitations or inner blocks?
I just need to put myself in situations like this as much as possible. Coming up on stage in front of a bunch of people, feeling what you feel, and just being in the public speaking situations. I need to put myself in as many situations like this as possible.
Great. So I hope you can see this straight line connection between all of these things that we're lining up here. Okay, well, we went from
good vibe.
Everything's good in my life except time, and create good vibes in high school and middle school, to this much more refined, condensed, clear vision of 20,000 kids who are socially ostracized, that I would like to have at least one friend that they feel cares about them, that they have a date, and that they have a job. And I'm going to do this through a class format that I'm going to put together. And what I need to do to make that happen is I need to become a master public speaker. I need to master that. I need to actualize that in myself. In order to do that, I need to get in situations like this in front of people on stages as much as possible. So do you see that? Can you see how that one leverage point of get myself into situations like this, and all the other dominoes will fall, getting me closer to that vision. You see how that works? You imagine if he would have just said, well, you know, good vibe times the problem. I guess I should take a time management course. Right? Total veer off into who knows where. Not that a time management course would be bad, but not just lined up. Not like a laser scope clarity. But that's not even the important part. Okay, the key now is, what do you want in a woman? What's the most important quality that she has?
She has to be happy and she has to be driven.
What about she has to help you get in front of audiences like this one? What if that was the most important quality?
That would be huge.
It would be huge. What if you found a woman who saw your vision and said, that's the vision, that's what I want to support, that's what I want to be part of. Maybe she even sees something like that herself. She wants to collaborate with you, and her talent or her natural ability is helping get people in front of audiences of people. What I'm trying to suggest here is that most men that I know, me included for most of my life, really couldn't conceive of what the right woman would really do for us. Like what she would really offer or what she could really bring and contribute. Okay? I'm not suggesting that this is exactly what you need because I'm not perfectly clear on your vision. Okay, we didn't get that part totally nailed down. We're just playing with the pieces now so that we can all get a feel for how all these things line up and how they relate to each other. But let's pretend for a minute and let's say that this is all correct. Let's say that that is your vision. There were 20,000 kids, the 3 different pieces. You with me? Getting on stage in front of people. And let's say that that was a good long-term thing and that's just what needed to happen. What would you need to offer? Who would you need to become to attract and keep that woman?
I'd need to be the man that would go up on stage and would talk in front of people, and when she tries to push me into things, I wouldn't make excuses for not doing it. I'd say, hell yeah, let's do it.
Interesting. When she pushed me into doing what I know is best for me, I would say, all right, let's do it. To me, that's profound. That's mind-blowing. When she pushed me into doing the things that I knew I needed to do anyway, I would say, hell yeah, let's do it. Can you see how we're starting to come around and we're moving away from, oh, I want a woman with a nice body, or I want a woman who's in a good mood, or I want a woman who this or that, to, I want a woman who pushes me to do what I need to do, to get the job done. That's a little spooky for most of us. Who's already weirded out and like, uh-oh, I don't like where this is going at all, right? Right. This is part of the equation here. See, if you're trying to attract this woman that you're thinking of as like, you know, social candy or whatever, or like, I'm going to have fun with her, or she's going to make me feel good, or she's going to push all my chemical buttons inside. How far is that going to go? What kind of lifespan does that have? How well is that going to turn into a long-term fulfilling relationship? Whereas if you can wrench your head around, get yourself in a headlock, kind of hold the reptile brain down with one foot, and hold the emotional brain over here back with this hand, and wake up for a second and say, all right, where am I going? What am I really trying to do here? What if I found a woman that drove me to make sure that happens in the most loving way? Good. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Let's Do another round. Another round. What do you want in a woman? What do you want in a woman? We're just practicing here, okay? Write it down. What do you want in a woman now? My last relationship was, by an order of magnitude, 10x, the most challenging relationship of my life. And I'm very fortunate that she and I are still very close friends. She was threatening to stop by here at some point, which would really be fun. Who wants to meet her? Yeah, okay, good. Hopefully she'll stop in, and maybe we'll even get her up here and we'll talk about it a little bit. But it was incredibly challenging, not what I was expecting at all. And what I realized as I went into it is, and you know, I think about this stuff a lot, and I work on these areas in my own life, but when you've got a woman that will only really accept the best from you, and your best from you, and isn't interested in all that superficial stuff as much, but really wants you to become your full, actualized self, that's when like you hit the turbo charger in the car. That's when you're in the jet and you hit the afterburners. That's when life becomes dimensional in a way you didn't even know was possible. It can also be very challenging. When you start thinking this way, you also start thinking about the deal breakers in a different way. In fact, go ahead. Try again. What are the deal breakers? What's just something you wouldn't accept from this total 10 woman that you want in your life? Think of it from this new perspective. You know, for me, I don't want a woman that will accept my excuses for why I'm not being my best self. You follow? Won't let me out of it, because that's not what I want for my life. I don't want to compromise. I damn sure don't want someone to support my compromising. That's just one insight from me. It's a different way of thinking, though, different perspective. I have a very close female friend, actually her and her boyfriend are two of my best friends, and she was over, 6 months ago or so, and we were hanging out and talking, and she gave me a compliment. She'd come to one of my other live programs that I do, I think it was, and was talking to me about, I think it was about coaching people or something. She gave me a compliment, and I made a joke, and I said, yeah, but I'm really kind of a jackass, or something. I just kind of joked it off. And as she was looking at me, she said, no, that's just the game that you're playing right now. That's not the real you. And she snapped my attention back and made sure that I received it, that I got it. Now, I'm fortunate. I've spent years now trying to find a lot of people in my life that do this. And I'm very fortunate that I have a lot of different friends that hang out with me and watch what I'm doing. And on a regular basis, they go, hey, that thing you're doing right there, that's not your highest you. Don't do that. What a blessing that is. How amazing it is. And how some of these people I never would have guessed that I would be hanging out with. Like, I wouldn't think that's the kind of person that's going to be a friend of mine in the future. Never would have thought it. And when times get challenging or rough and I need to talk to someone about something, I talk to a couple of these folks. Instead of listening to me and just trying to figure out how they can turn it into something about them or how they can be right or whatever, they really listen and say, I think your thinking's bad here, I think it's good here. When you get on your path, when you're really trying to make something happen, your values change around completely. Okay, so who's got another level here of insight and would like to do some work, maybe hasn't shared yet? Do you want to share? How's it going?
Good.
The direct route.
Absolutely.
You want to sit over here next to me?
No, not that
Oh,
close.
okay. All right,
Not
cool.
that close.
There's nothing, there wouldn't be anything weird about that. These things are big. Come on, try it. Let's just see what it, no, okay.
Should I sit on your knee next?
That would be weird. Who's learning something from this, by the way? I just want to get a feel for, really, who's getting something out of this? All right, good. Okay, so talk to me a little bit.
Well, should we review the 3 different levels and see how I've progressed?
Yeah, well, I'm more interested in seeing what your vision is right now. Tell me
After-
about how
on
you
the
can see
third
the world.
level?
No, right now. Where are you at right now? What's the vision you can see of a better world?
Oh, the vision. Okay, so that part is to replant the world's trees. So a lot of the trees through industrialization have been lost. And so I think that the world would benefit a lot in terms of the environment, habitat for animals, rainfall, all of these different things if there were trees.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to create a foundation to replant the world's trees.
Excellent. And how do you fit into that picture?
I could help create that organization.
Okay, so you're going to create the organization that's going to then go and replant the world's trees.
Correct.
What are you going to do in that organization?
Create a network of people that know about the right trees to plant in the right places. And
I mean, what's your role going to be in the organization?
well, as a creator, organizer, manager.
Okay, so you're going to create it and run it.
In the short term, yes.
Then what?
It
What
needs
is
to-
short term? How many months or years?
Say 3 or 4 years. The idea is that it would become self-sustaining, that it would support itself and continue on with or without me.
Okay, so you think you can create an organization in 3 or 4 years, run it, and then you can
Pass it on.
pass it on? What are you going to do after that?
Go on to the next piece.
Which is, does it still have something to do with the trees?
I think I would continue to have a role with that, but it might be something separate.
Okay. So what do you need to actualize in yourself to become that person? What do you need to make real, or what do you need to develop, cultivate?
Focus on that goal.
Okay. So you don't need to learn any new skills or overcome any new blocks? Or...
Yeah, I would need to allow myself to succeed. I need to extricate my saboteur.
Okay, that's good. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, there's definitely times in my life where I sort of sabotage my own success. And at this point, I'm aware that I do this and need to find a way to stop doing that.
What's the pattern?
I think generally what happens is either I have some level of success or achieve something, but then you start thinking about what are my family members going to think? What are my friends going to think? Sometimes you get feedback from people that your ideas are too lofty, or they want you to be more like them and live the life that they lived. And I see a different life.
Is there anyone that can relate to self-sabotage of their own success? Okay, good. When do you think this started?
It's probably been around for a long time. I don't know its origins specifically.
When's the earliest memory you can remember that might have something to do with this?
Don't know. Drawing a blank here.
Is there anything that maybe happened when you were younger, maybe with a parent, that you were trying to make something happen, but you were stopped in some way, and you created a self-sabotage mechanism because of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, It may not be as far back as you'd like, but there are certainly times in my life when what I wanted to do was to become make films and become like a film creator, kind of an artist. And I was encouraged not to do that and chose not to do that and to do something that's more safe, because most people that go into the film industry don't make it. So your probability of success is greater if you get a more conventional job. So you know, rather than pursue my wildest dreams, I pursued a more secure and safer choice, and that was influenced by my parents.
Can you remember an earlier time in your life where you wanted to do something and you really wanted to do it, but your parents didn't allow you to do it, and they influenced you to do something else?
Yeah, as I recall from the previous program, it's probably in this book. You know, there's choices that you make when you want to do things and you get nagged into doing something else.
Tell me about the earliest one you can think of.
Don't have a lot of memories here.
You were thinking of something.
Well, I was thinking of something that was unrelated. It's not related to my parents. There was a time in like grade 2 when I forgot my gloves in a separate building from school, and I wasn't allowed to go and get them. And so then I said, well, can I go to the bathroom? And the teacher knew what I was doing, and I knew what I was doing. I was deceiving her to go and get them anyway. So sometimes there's a sense of authority is holding me back.
Interesting. So this is what you might call, I'm roughly using this word, but you might call it a wound, right? Some kind of a emotional, psychological wound that we all have these, of course. We all have many, many of these. But is it possible that the incident with the teacher in the gloves is preventing this man from replanting the world's trees? I don't know. In some kind of abstract sense, maybe there's something there to it. To even go to another level deeper than a woman just supporting you and pushing you getting to the next level, finding a woman that can help you heal your wounds can actually be as or more profound. Okay? So let's say there's this set of experiences that has created what we're calling a wound, and I don't like to use negative terms like we're victims, but it's just a term that we're using to describe it.
Yes.
How could a woman participate in helping you heal this self-sabotage pattern and these wounds that have led to it, contributed to it?
I guess call me on it if she catches me doing it. That if there's times when I'm not pursuing my highest purpose or pursuing my goals, or if I cop out and I don't allow myself to achieve the things that I can achieve, that she would say, hey, come on, step up.
What's your experience with women so far? Do they behave like that with you in relationships?
They can be supportive. There's sort of one in particular that seems the most supportive of them all, and is sort of my ideal at this point.
Does she look at you and say, I won't accept that self-sabotaging cop-out behavior?
Not in those terms, no.
Right. So maybe supportive, because I'm just listening to the word and trying to read your mind. I don't really know what it means, but supportive to me sounds a little bit more, you can do it, honey, I love you, you can make it, you're wonderful. Not,
Snap out of it.
Don't cop out.
Right. Right. So I guess maybe there's somebody else that would be better, or I need to somehow convey that what I would like out of a relationship is the kind of person that can help me achieve my highest purpose or my goals.
Yeah. So how different would it be if that was the frame that we all used? By the way, what is the number one thing you want in a woman?
Well, I kind of wanted to do a progression and see.
Well, I heard what you wanted as soon as you sat down.
You don't want to do a progression?
We're not going there.
All right.
Because that's your story.
Okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
That's who you were.
Yeah.
And every moment is already gone as soon as it happens. It's already the past. Your experience, this is in a very kind of real way, the way things are. By the time your brain realizes what happened that has come in through your senses, the delay between when it happened and when your brain figures out that it happened, whether you're touching something, seeing something, it's already in the past. By the time you figure anything out or you sense anything, it's already gone. It's already the past.
So what I wrote down was what I want in a woman. I want a woman who will help me achieve my full potential.
Okay. Help you achieve your full potential. What do you think the one thing you could be doing in your life to achieve your full potential is? What's the highest leverage?
Can you say that again?
What's the high leverage point? What's the thing that could be happening to help you achieve your highest potential? Could it maybe have something to do with getting rid of your self-sabotage?
Yes, that would be enormously helpful.
Okay.
That would be the number one, yes.
All right. So what would a woman have to offer in order to make that happen? What do you think? What does your intuition tell you?
Well, I think she'd have to be able to see my success or what my potential and be able to, give me a kick in the ass whenever I'm not pursuing it vigorously.
Okay. Give me a kick in the ass whenever I'm not pursuing my potential vigorously. That's a really interesting, different high priority for what I want in a woman than most of the things that we've heard are, right? Be able to see what my potential is. Give me a vigorous kick in the ass if I'm not pursuing it. No, give me a kick in the ass if I'm not pursuing it vigorously. Would the kick in the ass be vigorous?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay, interesting. Just being, super open with you. As it was happening to me, I didn't like the kicks in the ass that much.
No.
When I wasn't pursuing my full potential in my last relationship here. But as I was going through it and in retrospect, I continued to look and say, this is a bitch. This is tough to be dealing with for me. But I've never grown so much, and I've never grown so fast, and I've never become so productive, and I've never, all these breakthroughs that I'm having. Interesting.
So you want to hear what I don't want?
Sure.
What I don't want in a woman is a woman who does not share my vision.
Okay. Why is that?
I think in order to have her support my vision and to help me achieve my full potential, she needs to believe in that vision as well. And so if she did not, then I sort of see that as a disconnect or, someone who's not going to be the right person to get you where you're going.
Do you want a family?
Yes.
Do you have children?
No.
Do you want them?
Yes.
What if you met a woman and she said, for me, in my world, what I want is I want 2 children and a house and a dog, and I want to create a safe home base where I just have the family totally locked down and have that act as the support for the man in my life so that he can achieve his vision. And she didn't care about trees. But she was awesome at kicking your ass swiftly when you were not vigorously pursuing your vision.
Right. Do you know anyone in particular?
And I'm not saying that that's the way it should be, right? I mean, we obviously, we're not going to solve all the world's problems here in a weekend seminar kind of thing. But if what you don't want is a woman who doesn't share your vision, but that actually doesn't really matter whether or not she shares your vision, as long as she kicks your ass when you're not on it, and you give her what she wants. I mean, she wants the family and the house and to be totally supported in creating that base to support you. What if those two things just fit together perfectly?
Sounds good.
He's like, I'll take it. Have her waiting outside at the end of the day. Good. No, thank you. This was good. Thank you very much. So as the layers get peeled back and we start considering this from other perspectives a little bit, we start to realize that, number one, I know this is sad, it's not all about what we want. Right? This is not all about what you want in your life. And just living at that kind of lower level, that's not what's going to ultimately fulfill you. That's not what's going to take you there, man. You're not going to wake up in 20 years if you stay in your comfort zone and you figure out how to push buttons to get instant gratification. You're not going to wake up and go, I am the best in the world at pushing buttons and getting instant gratification, and that is so fulfilling to me. That's not the way it's going to happen. On the other hand, if you design your life so that all of the elements around you support you, push you, drive you to become your fullest potential, so that you make your vision real, life's going to be just as difficult. There are going to be just as many problems. Just as many people are going to die. You follow? It's all going to happen the same way. But your experience of it is going to be one of dramatic, rapid progress. And at every step along the way, you're going to be looking around and saying, yes, bring it on. This is part of what I call inevitability thinking. Setting the conditions up so that what you want to have happen as an outcome just happens anyway. Right? Setting the conditions. What if instead of thinking of yourself as a guy who's going to go meet chicks, you thought of yourself as someone who created a powerful vision that you were going to contribute to, make real by actualizing yourself? And then you thought of finding a woman to help you become who you need to become in order to make that happen. And you started considering your greatest gifts, what you have to offer, so that you could offer this to a woman. And what you start looking for is a woman who can contribute to you, becoming who you need to become, and who you can contribute your greatest gift to, because that's what she's looking for in a man. You follow me here? You're looking for a woman who, she's looking for a man who offers the gift that you have. Do you think it would be fulfilling to be with a woman who what she's looking for is your gift, the thing that you offer? Do you think you will be happier in the future or less happy? Probably happier. We're going to revisit a very important concept. That says dependence. And this is going to say independence. And then this is going to say interdependence. Dependence, independence, interdependence. This is a developmental model, basically, where you start here, and then you evolve to here, and then you evolve to here. I first heard this particular version of the model from Stephen Covey in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now, he obviously didn't invent this concept, but he really brought it home and made it relatively simple to understand. The more I think about this, the more profound it becomes. In the last year of my life, it's become the most profound of all. So I highly recommend that you take this model and you just keep looking at it and you keep thinking about it. You keep looking at it and you keep thinking about it forever. This is like a lifetime study model here. The model of dependence is essentially when you get to the point, I mean, you could say that a newborn baby is completely dependent, but I actually think of a newborn baby as even almost being pre-dependence, because the newborn baby doesn't even have a distinction between itself and everything else yet, hasn't even learned about dependence. But dependence is characterized by things like, I need you. You made me feel bad when you said. Feeling like you wouldn't be okay if you didn't have something. Let's say a job, for instance. Your job, you feel like, you know what, if I didn't have my job, I would not be okay. You are dependent upon it. Most people are in this state. They're in what you might consider to be psychological and emotional dependence. That's their paradigm. And when a person says, you made me feel bad when you said, what they're essentially saying is, I'm not in control of my emotions and myself. You are. It's a profound statement when someone says, you made me feel bad. When someone says, you screwed me, or you victimized me, or you stole, like all this stuff, you took this thing from me, and they blame their independence. They're basically saying, you have control of their life. When people say this kind of stuff to me, they get very annoyed very fast, because I say things like, that's a miracle that you can give me that much power in your life to do that. Think about what a miracle that is. And how much more of a miracle is it that you're not even conscious you're doing it? You're giving it to me unconsciously. You're giving me the remote control for your life. Like you're basically saying to me, I've got a remote control over here, and I'm going, make you feel bad. Okay, so then then they don't buy that. I mean, this just annoys people for the most part. Then we got to go to the next level, and I say, okay, so we're both native speakers of English. If I would have said what I just said in German, would it have made you feel bad? And they say, no. And I say, why not? Well, because I wouldn't have understood it. Well, who made you feel bad? Was it me or was it you? Okay. The jump from dependence to independence is a huge jump in life. Fritz Perls, I mentioned this in Man Transformation, talks about independence, about maturity, basically, as independence. Moving from relying on the world and on others for support to relying on self for support. And the independent person, their paradigm is, I made myself feel bad with the interpretation I made from what you said. They also stopped saying, you screwed me. And if you show up, let's say they have a job and they work for you, and you show up and say, you know what, I don't need you to work with me anymore. They say, great, it's been a great relationship, thank you very much. Right? Because they're not in a dependent paradigm, they're in an independent paradigm. They rely on themselves for support. The next move to interdependence is when two people that have gone through independence and have become self-reliant then say, together we can be 1 + 1 = 11. Okay, together we can be so much more if we are interdependent. Now, most people that have this interdependence paradigm, when they look at the world and they say, oh, the ecology and everything's interdependent and it's a big system and whatever, they're actually psychologically socially, emotionally independence, but they think this sounds like a really good idea. So they want to skip this, and they want to go right here. And so if you're talking to them and you say something and they say, well, you made me feel bad. And you say, now wait a minute here. You're into this whole interdependence paradigm. Don't you get that that's not the way it works? Then they reinterpret it somehow and try and spit it out in some BS way that it's like, no, we're interdependent and you should take responsibility for my feelings. And you realize, no, that you're not there. You haven't moved there yet. You haven't moved up to that next level. So this model, when you look at relationships, when you look at dating, when you look at trying to figure out what you want in life, figuring out your purpose, if you're in a dependent paradigm, you're going to have a different vision for the world. If you're in an independent paradigm, you're going to have a different vision for the world, for yourself. If you're in an interdependent paradigm, you're going to have a different vision for yourself and for the world. If you're here, if you're independent, that's fine. That's exactly where you're supposed to be. You need to start working on doing some things to become more self-reliant, more independent, more able to take care of yourself and meet all your own needs. If you can't meet your own needs, essentially speaking, if you can't take care of yourself, and I don't mean like, you should be able to be shot into outer space and just take care of all your own needs. Obviously, we live in an environment where there are other people involved and so forth, but I'm, talking generally speaking, you can go create the success for yourself that you need to pay your bills, to feed yourself, to develop yourself, to control your emotions when you need to, all that kind of stuff. That's what you need to do. You need to move to that level. Once you're there and you have that awakening of, I'm going to be okay, whatever happens. I can take care of myself. I don't need my parents. I don't need favors. I don't need my looks. I don't need any of that stuff. I'm going to be all right to take care of myself. I can do it. That's when we can move to interdependence. Now, relationships, male-female relationships, that are at the dependence paradigm, that are at level 1, this is where a lot of dysfunction happens. This is where there's boundaries that are unclear and merged and weird. This is where a lot of unhealthy, enabling types of behavior happen. This is where, one person or the other is abusive and the other one says, well, I know they're a good person and I'm going to stick by them, and they have these games that they play that are based on childhood wounds that just play themselves out and they can't get out of them because it's, I need that person, or I die without that person, or whatever. Relationships that get up to the independence level, which is an evolutionary step, and you got to go through here to get to here. These are relationships based on mutual respect, self-reliance, being able to take care of your own needs. And they're also based on trading, tit for tat. Tit for tat. Could be an interesting relationship model, but I'm going to give this to you and I expect you to give something back to me. Fairness. You should do this thing for me. I should do this. I did the dishes, so you should take out the trash. I brought the kids last time. You should do the kid, this time, whatever. It's like this exchange. It's like there's a lot of business transaction level stuff that's going on. This can, in a lot of cases, be more functional and successful than this, because you've got people that they have healthy sense of who they are, healthy sense of boundary. They know what their values are, and they're working with this other person to, let's get everyone's needs met. Let me get my needs met, and you want to get your needs met, and when you help me get my needs met, I'll help you get your needs met. Maybe there's a little bit of overlap. Fine. There's another level to a relationship that isn't, relationship based on lack of boundary and on need and on fear and enabling. And it's not based on I'm over here and you're over there, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to get my needs met, and then you're going to do your thing and get your needs met, and we'll trade some needs here and there so that we can kind of work together and fulfill this role. But I've done these other things. I've been through those games before, those levels, and I want something more. Okay, I don't want 1 + 1 = 1.5, but I can't live without you, so I accept 1.5. And I don't want 1 + 1 = 2. I want 1 + 1 = 11. You've got to find someone who's gone through these levels, and then you've got to let all that stuff go. You've got to let go of that paradigm of, I'm going to play this logic game, or I'm going to try to get as much as I can and give as little as I can. And you've got to realize that your greatest potential out there, this vision that you could create for the world, and the you that could become actualized, that's wounded or blocked or has issues inside of yourself that you don't want to face, that you're trying to hide from, that maybe you're not even conscious that you're hiding from them, that you can be helped along dramatically and have its butt vigorously kicked on occasion if a woman that really gets this shows up in your life. Because she can get in there and mess around with the system a little bit in a way that you can't, and that frankly really no one can. And likewise, you can bring something to her that can help her actualize herself and the life that she wants in a way that's so much more, so much dramatically bigger than anyone could have imagined, than she could have imagined. But that stuff is never available in a dependent relationship and in an independent relationship. It's just not there. That's not the way those work. The way it works is to get into a relationship where you are contributing full force. You're given everything you've got. And when you're not contributing, you're receiving full force. You're just receiving, not in a selfish, egocentric way, but you're receiving to make yourself into your highest potential so that you can go do your work. So you can go make that vision real. You can contribute at the greatest level. And I don't know why this is, okay? I don't know if like God played a trick, if you're into thinking of it as God or nature or evolution or whatever you want to call this whole thing is, this reality. I don't know if it played a trick on us, but you can't, that I know of, you can't game this one. This one cannot be gamed. You can just do it. And when you do it, and you say, all right, I'm just going to jump off the cliff, I'm going to go for it, you can make some awesome, awesome things happen. And you can contribute to other people's lives in ways that are mind-blowing and miraculous. Obviously, we're going to go deeper with this during the program, but I'll leave you with this one thought before we wrap this particular section up. In my life, for me, when I was in a paradigm of dependence, just trying to get, figuring out, okay, how do I manipulate the situation to get, and then giving to other people, but for selfish reasons, right? Giving because I wanted to have the little squirt of emotion of I'm a good person or see myself as a good person. Right? That was one paradigm, and I did okay in my life. When I got to this paradigm here, and I was kind of firmly rooted, my center of gravity was really in independence, I became a lot more successful in several ways, attracting women, making money, accumulating things, whatever. But when the lights started to come on about what this really means and about contribution, this is when stuff that I can only describe as, like, you might call it like a miracle started happening. Where I'd meet somebody and get to know them, do some work with them, and help them remove a little block in their life, or introduce them to the right other person, or recommend a couple of books and that they get on this path, and they have a breakthrough, and then a miracle, like this person goes from one level of success in their life to 100 times that level, or a relationship changes from being blocked and having problems to it just blossoms, or a work situation that's challenging turns into something that there would be no way of bargaining it into that or cramming it into that. You following me on this? And it's a little weird, but this is how things work. You have to let go of a lot of stuff. You got to get over a lot of stuff. You got to process through a lot of things to actually get your own map and your own paradigm to this point. You don't just hear it and then it's done. There are some practices involved and so forth, which we will be talking about during the program. How's it going?
Good. I'm Drew from Chicago. And a couple times in relationships, I go back and forth when they're pushing me for doing something, and I think to myself, oh, they must be testing me or something, so I shut them down totally.
Yeah.
And then that creates huge drama and it's led to breakups.
Yeah.
After that.
Are you clear in those situations on kind of the vision of what you're trying to accomplish, the difference you're going to make in the world?
I'm usually in the moment, and I'm usually thinking to myself, if I give in right now, am I going to lose power? Is she going to think less of me? Am I going to lose status? Is she going to lose attraction to me?
So you usually are clear on the difference you're going to make in the world in those moments?
No.
In the
okay.
moment. I misunderstood then. Okay. Because the difference has to do with where are you going, what are you trying to do, and is what she's doing encouraging you to get there? Is she giving you a kick in the butt to help you become all you can be and kicking your lazy ass out of bed so that you go make a difference? Or is she just poking you and messing with you to see if you're trustable? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Do you understand the difference now?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Well, I'm thinking back and thinking about mistakes I made in the past and thinking how I misjudged situations now.
Yeah. You know, like I said, everything I've taught before is wrong, in a sense. I mean, it's not really, but it depends on what paradigm you're at and what you're trying to accomplish. 5 or 7 years ago, I didn't really quite get this myself. You know, I had maybe read a couple of things about it or thought about it a little bit, but still was like, if any woman messes with me, I'm going to kind of shut her down. That's not where this is going. But now I can, it's pretty clear to me when a woman says, you're not being your best you, versus she's just messing with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. I think you'll be able to see the difference. As long as you're clear. You got to know what you're trying to make happen.
Okay.
Any questions?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. This is going to be the most, I think anyway, the most challenging program that I've ever done. This is going to push more people to say, you're out of your mind, dude, than anything I've probably done before. For men who aren't really interested in this level of becoming who they could possibly be and contributing at the level that they could possibly contribute, some of them are going to find things that I've said in here and take it out of context and say, but in cocky comedy, you said this, and I'm going to have to say, shoot yourself immediately, please. With a disclaimer, under it, that was just humor. It's just joking.